This is the West Michigan Sports Show, presented by Dasos Digital. Now, here's your host, Brandon Wirth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into the West Michigan Sports Show, presented by Dasos Digital. Brandon Wirth joining you here live this Saturday. It's September 7th, and we have a great episode for you. We'll get to the local sports report, including, we're recording this live on Saturday, y'all. So we have football scores for you from last night. If you're just joining us, you're going to get a special treat. Can't wait to bring that to you. We'll get into all the other sports as well as soccer, volleyball, and cross country. Actually had some action. Just actually came from the Ray Helsing Bulldog Invitational, where we saw some great results. And we'll talk a little bit about that race as well as later on in the second half of the show. Discussion about the importance of an alumni base. This is something that was prompted to my attention. I know I've done a lot of these talk show segments here over the last couple of weeks. Don't worry, we'll get back into interviews as well as getting coaches and players on the show as well. So please be sure to follow along wherever you follow the show, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, live with us over WBRN on 1460 AM 96.5 1077. If you do miss out on a show, guys, don't worry about it. Go on to WBRN.com under the podcast tab, and you can find all of these episodes on demand for your listening pleasure. So I can't say it more. If you miss a show, don't worry about it. We got you covered. Just head on over there and you can listen for yourself. Big thanks to some of our supporters of this show. Those include, obviously, Dasos Digital as the primary sponsor of this show. Navigate your way through the digital wilderness with the great help of the experts at Dasos Digital. Website design, social media, whatever your business needs to get to the next level, they can help you out. So they're the primary sponsor for us and this program, and we appreciate all of the great work that they've done, as well as some of our other great supporters, which if you want to be a supporter, 796-7000 during the business hours will hook you up. Some of those local sports supporters include Johnson's Automotive, Schuberg Insurance Agency, Quality Car and Truck Repair, Alter Care Big Rapids, Paris Auto Sales and Service of Big Rapids, Motor the Mecosta Osceola Transit Authority, and the Mecosta Osceola Career Center. Thank you for your support of local high school sports. All right, let's get into it. No time to waste. We are getting straight in to our sports recap. Starting on August 30th, we got some football action to recap that we didn't get to last week. Tri-County beats Comstock Park 42-24 on the road, so win for the Vikings, as well as volleyball in some round-robin tournament action up north, up 131 in Cadillac. Moly Stanwood falls to Cadillac in two sets, 25-20 and 25-12, as well as they fall to Kingsley in two nail-biting sets, 25-22 and 25-20. Moly Stanwood would fall in their second and third match as well against Morley Stanwood 25-17 as well at 25-12. Or excuse me, Morley Stanwood falling to Midland there in those early Mon matches. September 4th, we had some cross-country in action over at Shepherd, some local teams there. If you want the full breakdown, go to athletic.net, search one of the schools, and you can find the schedule, and we'll break down those rankings at some point here through the season. I want to go through the results of all of the local athletes, but to be honest, it's a lot to carry, so I want to make sure we have other times for all the scores. So, but some great team placements as well. You can find the whole breakdown there, as well as you miss out on any scores as well. You can go to MHSAA.com. If you're waiting for me, great, but if you need it a little earlier, totally get it. Head on over there and you can get the breakdown there. Boys soccer on September 5th, Big Rapids blanks Newaygo 8-0. That's a huge win for the Cardinals against the Lions. Grant, a nail-biter against the Wildcats. The Tigers win at 4-3 and a nail-biter at home, as well as Tri-County dominates Reed City by a score of 9-1. Volleyball action, the CSAA, Tri-County and Big Rapids did battle the Cards, take down the Vikes. They win in three sets, 25-20, 25-19, and 25-13. Your final score there from Big Rapids. Central Montcalm blanks Lakeview. They win three straight sets, 25-11, 25-18, and 25-11. Kent City and Shelby did battle there from Kent City, and it turned into a good match. However, Kent City would fall to the Tigers of Shelby, 27-25 and 25-18. Kent City would also fall to Manton, 25-16 and 25-20 in two sets. Newaygo and Grant and 37 rivalry always produces some great matchups, and this one certainly was. It would be the Lions winning against the Tigers 3-1 there in that rivalry matchup. Reed City sweeps Chip Hills 3-0, and White Cloud falls to Moly Stanwood in 3 sets, requiring extra points in that final third set. September 7th is where we stand today. A lot of great volleyball tournament matchups. Big Rapids and White Cloud, 2 teams that are going to be hosting some, as well as soccer. Newaygo going to be hosting their county championships with Grant and Fremont. That'll be fun. The Ray Housing Bulldog Invitational, as I just mentioned. Going back a little bit here to Friday night. Of course, that's what people are probably listening for. Football under the lights. Central Montcalm hosting Newaygo. And how about the Lions? An upset over the really good Hornet team, 21-12. Your final score there. Newaygo gets the victory on the road. Big Rapids bounces back in a big way against Fruitport. They win 41-14 on the road. Grant against Tri-County. It was 6-6, I believe. 2 teams scoring in their opening possessions. However, Tri-County would win the rest of the way in a big way. 56-6, your final score in that one. White Cloud at Harrison. The Indians will fall short against Harrison, 42-22. Kent City gets back in the win column. They beat Godwin Heights 22-8 in non-conference action. Lakeview falls to Saugatuck. Listed online, it says 49-13 is the score. It is also with an asterisk that is in dispute. So that score might be a little off, but as far as we've heard, Saugatuck winning there against the Wildcats. Moly Stanwood and Kalkaska, a game that certainly we were looking forward to this year. However, last year, Morley Stanwood got the win. This year's a little different. Kalkaska edges out the Mohawks 20-14. Your final score there from Morley. And Chip Hills against Reed City. This was a high-scoring affair, as one that was there in person. It'd be the Coyotes on top. 65-30. Yeah, you heard that right. 95 combined points from these 2 teams. If you loved offense, you loved this football game. 65-30, your final score. We will have a live rendition as well, as Mark and I did the broadcast on Friday for those that missed. We'll have a live rendition, a replay of that broadcast. So if you want to listen in, re-listen to the game, get some calls of the game as well, we'll have that posted on the Y102 website here upcoming once we get that finalized and get that file out there for you. On September 5th, our last scores to report back from Thursday in boys soccer and girls volleyball. We'll get to here in just a minute. In boys soccer, Fremont against Tri-County. It is the Packers on top 1-0, and Kent City beats Ravenna on the road 1-0. Also at a Saranac quad, we saw Central Montcalm in action. It would be a win for the Hornets in a big way against Zion Christian. It was a really tight battle. They lost the first set, Central Montcalm did, but they bounced back to win the next 2, including winning the penultimate in extras. So they win 22-25, 25-16, and 16-14, your final there. As well as Central Montcalm falls to Covenant Christian, in 2 straight sets, as well as they will fall to Saranac 25-20, 23-25, and 15-9 there in that Saranac quad. We also got some boys soccer to report on for next week. Those will be on Monday, I believe, on the 9th. So we'll have some good matchups there. Grant hosting Big Rapids, Kent City hosting Tri-County, Lakeview hosting Reed City, and Newaygo in non-conference action hosting Muskegon. Those games, I believe, are all at 6 o'clock, except for Lakeview is at 4:30 and Newaygo is at 5 o'clock. So those are the scores to report there. While we have a minute, we might as well break down some of our great cross-country performances there at the Ray Housing Bulldog Invitational. Is a really great venue. As one that was out there personally, the weather was great and saw some really, really great times as the course was in very, very good shape this year as opposed to years past. But some really, really good results. I think it was really fun to just see a lot of local athletes back, seeing a lot of the community coming out. We do have some team scores to report. While the individual ones are still being finalized, we do have team scores to report. Tri-County gets the win, 27 points over Big Rapids at 48 and Reed City at 57. Beaverton also finishing up there in the 4th place position. Hayden Gould is your individual winner for Big Rapids, running 16:50, followed by Alex Culver of Tri-County. And the number 1 across for Reed City, Tanner Dozer, as Gus Rohde is currently injured. He did not race today. They're explaining Reed City, but really good competition there at the local level, as well as the high school girls just finishing up as well. And by the point totals that we have as of right now, we got Reed City winning this one. You ready for this? 33-34. What a tightrope of a finish. Big Rapids also finishing in 3rd with 63 points. Clara Smooth is your individual champion, 21-40, followed by Anna Packey of Tri-County, 21-58, with Raquel Welch as your 3rd place finisher, first as a Cardinal, 22-17. Her final time there. So there you go. There's the cross-country breakdown. I'm sure a lot of people listening in love to hear that. If you want to hear more cross country, you want to hear more about soccer, you want to hear about volleyball, hit us up. Once we get these posted out on Big Rapids Daily News, you can go on there, you can comment, you can share it, tell us, hey, what you want to hear. You can also fill out a WBRN contact form on the Big Rapids Daily News website, and I'll let you know what you want to hear, who you want to hear from interviews. Let us know, and we will get it as much done as we can. Obviously, we are busy here, but I will be sure to get that insight in, and we will try to make that happen for you. So we appreciate all of our great fans that are listening in live or post-produced, because you guys make this machine roll. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're talking the importance of alumni base in high school sports. Really fun conversation, but first some bills on here on WBRN.
The West Michigan Sports Show is brought to you by Dazos Digital. Dazos Digital specializes in a number of crucial business elements in today's advanced world of technology. Dazos Digital specializes in web design, digital content creation, including graphic design for logos, advertising, and digital videos. Dazos Digital also works with programmatic digital display advertising and YouTube digital video advertising. They also work with premium and performance audio streaming, both via the Big Rapids Media radio station streams, as well as Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, and more. Find out more information at dazosdigital.com.
We return here to the West Michigan Sports Show presented by Dazos Digital. We're talking about alumni base, and I think this is something that really kind of came to mind as an alumni at some fellow events, calling Reed City College football, and obviously in attending actually today's cross country meet. Really kind of brought this to light, and really a lot of these things stem about, making of an alumni association for your school. You have sports boosters that a lot of them are alumni, and the real question comes down to what's the proper way to let alumni help out with your program. Now, first of all, before I lose a couple of you, because I know for a fact that many of you are saying that, oh man, this kid, he doesn't understand. And you're absolutely right. I don't understand. I've been an alumni for a high school for 5 years. I'm still only 23 years old, and I still don't know a lot of the things that go within the inner circles of booster clubs, with alumni relations, with a lot of those things. I 100% will admittedly know that. I am here to say exactly what my experience has been and what it can be for a school, and what benefits that it can bring to have a strong alumni base, right? And I've seen this at the high school level and the college level, and there's a lot of different things that it can really do to really help you, right? So alumni, they have a lot of different things that they can be involved with, right? They can be involved with the team when it comes to practices. A lot of times coaches will bring them in as guest speakers, which I think is great, because as athletes, you want to hear the perspective, right? Many people that are alumni that come back to a program, they've went through some similar things that some of these high school student athletes might be facing, right? Having to do an exam on a Friday before the biggest game of the season, right? Many people know what I'm talking about if you were a former student athlete, right? There are stressful things that every student athlete will love insight on, right? What are some of the things that you did, right? How is the game changed? What should I be focusing on when it comes to that? Or, approaching a coach, what are some things that you should do to be able to have a better connection, right? Those are things that I think we could all agree. Maybe I'm a little wrong, but I think we could all agree that you would love to see the alumni being involved to a point that is not too much and not too little. I think that's what we're looking for, that middle ground, that not the gray area, right? You don't want it to be kind of more unknown on what is the good or the bad, but it should be in the middle, right? It shouldn't be a complete cutoff, but it shouldn't be having them at practice every single day, right? You'd love to see them here and there, but you don't want it to necessarily be a distraction, or you don't want to see you don't want to see any of them and have nobody come, because then you don't really have the support as much, right? You have a lot of the alumni showing up in the stands as spectators, which is fantastic. They're supporting the team, and it really does say something to have a lot of those people back, but you also do need that space away. So I looked online. I wanted to see some research behind alumni and really what the alumni base can do for a school, and there's a lot of things, especially when it comes to public schools as well as private schools. A lot of the articles that I am going to reference from Sanford School involves around private schools, but a lot of the things that they do really involves around both private and public schools as far as the reasoning goes. So the first thing that alumni understand is the school's culture, right? And now it's obviously going to be different when you're talking from alumni to 1980 than you are alumni to 2020, right? It's a drastic change from what school was like back then to what life is like now in school. But here's the counterpart. The alumni know what it means to put that badge, put that logo, put that emblem on their shirt and compete for that town, right? The town of its foundation, right? Whether it's a mill town, whether it's an old logging town, whether it's a crossroad of transportation, whether it's an old area of just development, right? Every city has its come up, right? Every city has its developing grassroots story from the soil all the way up to the trees. There's a way that it grew and there's something that it is built upon foundationally, right? The alumni understand that. They know what kind of people are in your town, what kind of fans you have, right? Are they the hardworking 9-to-5ers? Maybe you're in a big city where it's more office folk, right? They understand those kind of things. So they know how you are perceived when it comes to being an athlete, right? Because you'll have more people potentially going to more weekday games, some on the weekend, so on and so forth. So you understand that culture, right? You understand exactly where the school is coming from, where a lot of the teachers, the people living around the community, your fans, the athletes, they understand the school's culture, right? And they might understand the history of how it has changed and some things that are similar and different, right? So they know the school culture. That's number one. Number two, they know the reputation of the school. This one is kind of either embraced or avoided, right? Because you come from the school, opponents have a different perception of you than you have of yourself. You can't argue that. When it comes to a rivalry, one school hates the other, right? But obviously that other school is not going to hate themselves. They're going to hate the other team, right? It's going to be reciprocated like a mirror on a wall. There is going to be reputations that are going to go back and forth where you talk to one person from one team, they're going to say one thing about the school, then you talk to another, and they might say something different. But when it comes to a rivalry, right, the reputation of the other school is often hated, whether it comes to a roadway, whether it's the US 131 rivalry, the M37 rivalry, no matter what it is, battle for a trophy, whatever. There's going to be a reputation about that school in a rivalry. Obviously, one town does not like the other, or one school does not like the other, right? It's the rivalry, right? We're heading into rivalry week here on US 131 in our local area. Reed City and Big Rapids are going to play football. The towns are going to shut down, and they're going to be at Alumni Field at Reed City on two parts of the stands. And it's probably going to get a little chippy. That's just the nature of a rivalry, right? And it's the reputation that the fans perceive of the other school that often goes with that. But when it comes to alumni, how can they help the reputation? They can help these student athletes understand how they're perceived, right? If they're perceived as snotty, okay, you can either embrace kind of that chippiness, or you can, look more at the community and say, hey, how can we improve our reputation? How can we get ourselves and our image a little bit better to the community, to your fan base, so you bring more people to your games and competitions, right? So that's number two. They know the culture, number one, and number two, they know the reputation of not only the school, but the town and how they perceive their teams, right? The third one I think is really important, and I think my superintendents and principals that might be listening out there are going to nod their heads after they say this, or after I say this, and when they hear this, it's going to help school development with alumni being a part of it, right? Because of those two things, right? They know the reputation of the school, they know the culture within the school, right? Development is so important, right? Bond proposals, millages are coming up for many of these schools to help develop and build their schools to a new height going forward, right? Especially in this local area when we got some elections coming up. And so it's super important for the alumni to be involved. And especially when it comes to the administration of these schools, they want to hear what they want to improve on, right? They want to hear from the students. They want to hear from the parents. They want to hear from the teachers. What can we as in our school do better, right? And alumni can help with that. They can understand those two things, right? The reputation, the culture, how that school is perceived, and say, hey, like they are perceiving it like this, right? They see your school as A and they would like to see more of B, right? Okay, how can we do that? Okay, we can adjust a little bit of our curriculum towards this, right? How can you get your school aligned with the community, or how can you help your school improve and help the community improve, right? There's so many things with that. And alumni understand that. And especially from the working man, I say that in quotation marks. It's obviously not necessarily towards the male gender, but towards the quote unquote working people of the community. They understand what can make the school better, right? They can understand it because they hear a lot of perspectives from a lot of their other folks. They see what happens in the school. A lot of them are involved with the school, whether it's their kids, their grandkids, so on and so forth. So alumni help school development, right? Especially the people around in the community that have stayed. They've lived there a long time. They know exactly what can be improved on. That doesn't mean they're going to give you the specs and give you a new building and a lot of those things, but they can give you feedback, and then the administration can go from that feedback, understand what the community wants, and then help their students as much as they can by putting it in. It's a win-win on both sides, right? So alumni can help with school development in the end of the day. The fourth one I think is very interesting, and I think this is one that is often taken the most, especially by the route when we're talking to coaches, especially for what they use with their alumni, is educational opportunities. Now, this does not mean that an alumni is going to go teach communications 101 in a high school setting. That's not necessarily what education means. It's providing that wealth of knowledge from their experience as an athlete to give that perspective and help the student athletes, right? How did you guys do it back in the day? How is something that you're experiencing comparable to them? What did they do? Can that athlete use that, right? So going and speaking with teams is the number one way to do this, right? Being able to have that person come to a practice, be able to speak is a really good way. It's a good way for alumni to be in touch with the team, and it kind of helps bridge that gap as well so that the alumni are following along and they're able to kind of feel like they made an impact. Because as one that is already an alumni now at the collegiate level and at the high school level, the fact that I have student athletes from my respective institutions, both at both levels, coming up to me and saying that, man, when you were talking about those things now in your last couple of months and couple of years, one thing that you said really stood out to me, and it provided something as an alumni. That is the most genuine and awesome thing that you can hear, is that you made an impact for the current athletes and current team as an alumni from your experiences. It makes you feel like you really helped with something. And that means a lot. It really does mean a lot to me. I know some other alumni can say the same thing. So they can provide the educational opportunities. And we want to, speaking on behalf of the alumni, we want to help make your experience better for student athletes, right? We've been through the ringer as well. We know the goods and bads. We want to really limit the bads and unlimit the goods. That's what we want to do. And that's a really good way, being able to come back and speak, be able to really kind of learn, get a relationship, some rapport one-on-one, and even with the team in general. And that really helps. The number 5 way that alumni can help positively is they increase the network, right? People know people who know people. That's how it goes, right? People that know people that know people that know people, right? Your circle and your spider's webs gets a lot bigger. And that gives a more bigger opportunity for your followership, for your teams, your athletic programs, so on and so forth. But it also gives you opportunities to be able to unlock some resources to help your school, right? If you know somebody that's into media design that can help with some graphic work for your school, whether it's using a facility, maybe for a get together, just making dinner, or getting a training course in something, whether they're a trainer, so on and so forth. Those things can be helpful, right? And it might not necessarily be the same from one school to the other. A lot of schools in our conference vary in size and vary in resources. And sometimes when you have those connections built, that you can help your school in a positive way, whether it's financially, whether it's going out and getting some extra training, whether it's mental or physical. A lot of those things alumni can help with, because people know people who know people. And that's an important thing at the end of the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you do, subscribe. We'll be back next week. Quick out. I'm out. Brandon Wirth signing off here in the West Michigan Sports Show on News Radio WBRN.